Okay, so in this video, we're going to start working with the buildings that are inside the rampart. I want to start with this, which is the Domus Ecclesiae, which is where the bishop would have resided, and some other wealthy people as well. And it was going to be attached to the amphitheater and this back wall of the rampart. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a different mesh set. Funnily enough, I'm going to be using the Multistory Dungeons mesh set, which was put out for free. I would say probably about a year ago, and I managed to snag it when it was on the marketplace. So what I'm going to be doing to make it is something that's going to kind of contrast with what's going on back here. I'm going to be using this. I like this kind of set because I think it just looks nice. It'll be good contrast with the lighter tones, and in the future, if we want to kind of change this mesh, we can just change the element material, and it won't be too difficult to do. But let's go ahead and kind of work with this. Just like with the wall, we're going to stick with the standard place where it snaps to on the grid, which is not going to be perfectly aligned with this block just yet. We're going to take care of that when we turn the whole building. So let's go ahead and kind of just snap out a few walls. I'm going to make this, because this one wasn't to scale, I'm going to make it a little bit larger. So I've got 5 wide, and let's say I want to change this right here. This is going to be the front door. I might do something a little fancy actually with this. We have a little bit of leeway. So I'm going to do this right here, this archway. I think that looks quite nice as a doorway. So what we're going to do is we're going to have that, and we need to start making our walls. This is the front entrance. So we're going to drag this over here, turn it around. We're going to change this to 45. We're going to change it to 90 degrees. 90 degrees, so we can snap it into place better. Always best to work with 90-degree angles because you can snap things just like that a lot more easily. And I think we're going to go, and this was a rectangular building, so we're going to make sure that's reflected in our layout. So we're going to make it just a little longer than it was wide. That's looking square, so I'm going to go one more further back. And now we've got that. Now I'm just going to gather all of these here and just copy them across. And now I've got a basic kind of structure laid out for this. I'm going to do the same thing with all of these. I'm going to copy all of them, and I'm going to drag them back to here. And that needs to go back just a little further. There we go. I'm now going to delete this box because I don't really need it anymore. But one of the things I want to do is I want to get rid of this back door and kind of change it back to what I had before. So I'm just going to drag that over there. And now we have a basic layout for this Domus Ecclesiae. But I want to add a second story to it. So to do that, I'm simply going to highlight everything if I can. There we go. Got that. This takes a little bit of time, but it's well worth it because it will save me a lot of time from having to drag each of these up individually. I'm just going to drag it up, copying it, and now we have a second floor. Just like before, I am going to take this and I'm going to drag this over, and now we've got a two-story Domus Ecclesiae. And to give you a sense of the scale, I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to kind of just run over here real fast so that we can kind of see what the scale of this building looks like within our city. So it's not looking too bad, honestly. Not bad for a first take, especially not bad for just a few minutes of construction. But one of the things I want to do is I want to kind of run in and see what it looks like while standing inside. So Domus Ecclesiae, this is going to have a main floor and a couple other compartments on the upstairs. We're going to add in stairs and kind of populate it in just a little bit. But for right now, I think this is looking pretty good. So I'm going to pop out, and I believe this set has some floor meshes, if I'm not mistaken. Here we go. Let's kind of look at the different planes. One of the things we're always going to have a problem with is getting these floor meshes to line up just the way you want them to. If you notice, I'm using the Z at Z. What is it? Z. This is the Z axis. So I'm going to put this at 110. That's still not looking good. 105. That looks more like an actual floor. It doesn't do that kind of bouncing thing anymore. So I'm going to put that down there. And I'm just going to simply drag this out across all of this. Now we've got what looks more like an actual floor. I'll drag this out. Ooh, it looks like we have a problem. Now we can fix that later. So I'm going to put that there, and we'll cut this off so you don't see it when we work with the formatting of the shape later on. But for right now, that's looking like a Domus Ecclesiae. Or don't really know what a Domus Ecclesiae might look like, but something like that, I assume. So what we can do is we can start kind of working with the interior. With this set, we have a whole bunch of nice props. Remember, some of them are going to be a little creepy because this is a mesh set for a dungeon, but it looks like all these are actually somewhat all right. We're going to use some of them as we start kind of filling these buildings out. We're not going to use the books because they don't look kind of representative of the period. There is a different mesh set that actually has some really nice looking medieval manuscripts. But we might use some of these wooden buckets and candles and describe how the Carolingians used candles made of beeswax. There's a nice text from Hinkmar of Rhymes that talks about that. But this is basically how we're going to kind of lay out our building. And now if I were to, I'm going to come over here and just kind of bring this guy over this way so I don't have to keep on going back. I'm kind of lazy and not wanting to have to run all the way every single time. So we're going to come over here, hit play, and see what this kind of looks like now. Now when we walk in, we can see that our floor is in place. That looks good. Walls are all in place, and it's looking like an actual home. We're going to add a second floor onto this as well. So let's go ahead and do that now. Oh, I'm in the props section. So let's go back to meshes. And do we have floors in this? I feel like we do. Or ceilings. I think we might be able to use the ceiling, or sorry, the floor as a second floor and a ceiling. Let me see about that though. This whole prop set, this mesh set, was designed originally for simply interior work, not exterior. So let's go ahead and just drag this up and kind of give us a second floor. Yeah, see, that's going to present us with a problem. We're going to have to work on that and figure out a solution, at least a better solution for the ceiling. Again, you're seeing all this in real time, so I'm probably not going to edit this out, so you get a sense of how, when you're doing a project like this, you do have to struggle with figuring out certain problems, and there's never one solution. Meshes, we were just in there. Blueprints, that's not going to be it. Well, I guess we're going to have to figure out this second floor issue with something else, because we do not want to walk in and see nothing. So I'm going to delete that for right now. We'll figure that out. But for right now, this is looking good as a floor. I want to add in stairs, though, to take us up to what will eventually be the second floor. So let's go through and find our stairs. As you can tell, we have a couple different options. Let's just kind of drag these each in and see what they look like. Now that looks pretty cool. This will let students kind of go through and explore the Domus Ecclesiae in a bit more depth. But I don't want to get too fancy with the Domus Ecclesiae, because I want to keep some of the fancier things for what will be our chapel over here. And I may even, I think I will do this, I'm going to delete one side from this. And I think this will make this building look, go through and select each of these. I don't want this to be too big, because archaeologically, their archaeological record shows that this building is smaller than the church. So that means we can delete these now, delete that, and now we can kind of, we should be able to drag, I think, all of these to the left, just one unit, and we shouldn't see these floors anymore sticking out on the side. Not there, not there. So we're looking good. That means I'm going to delete that staircase. I want something a little, maybe more modest even. Might even want a wooden staircase. Yeah, I'm going to go with wood. So to do that, I'm going to go over here to content, and I'm going to switch back to my modular fantasy house. And we have some good, fairly simple things that we can do here. Wooden staircases that will take us to another level. That looks a little too modesty. This is a nobleman's house after all. So yeah, I'm going to go back to these ones. And I'm just going to stick with the staircase that I have right now. One of these fancier ones. I think it does look quite nice. And after all, it is a nobleman's house, so why not be a little fancier? I'm going to put this on the side. And I'm going to do one that kind of leads up to that. And then another one that'll lead to the actual second floor. So I'm going to drag that off. I'm going to spin this around. Drag this over this way. Bring this way. And then I can take this and, if I can, there we go. And then what I'll do is I'll add in a block here that will allow for the character to kind of step on that. So we're going to do that. We're going to put this here, drag it over into the corner, drag it up. Not a huge fan of that. Yeah, that looks better. And that should allow us to get to the second floor. But again, it's a little too big. I think there might be a smaller one that I can use. Yeah, that's nice because it's just one unit. Always better to use one piece if you can. And again, I'm going to fix what's happening behind the thing in a little bit. That's just going to stay like that. This will give us a way to actually add in a second floor. And in fact, I bet dollars to donuts I can kind of use that to add in a second floor here as well. So I'm going to try that, see if I can get it to work. I'm going to take this and put this up here. And I'm going to actually decrease the size of this significantly. You know what? I do not want to have stone just kind of sitting above. I don't think that's going to look good. I'm actually going to put wood in for that. Stairs will stay that way, and we'll have wood, and let's see if we come up halfway, and we do. So when I put the wood meshes in here for the second floor, it should all look just like we want it. So let's go ahead and go back to content. We're going to go to modular fantasy house, and we are going to actually just add in our wood floor right now. So let's go for floor. If we can find it. Wooden floor, here we go. And I think this mesh setup allows for you to see underneath because they anticipated second floors. That one doesn't. Let's delete. There is a mesh that allows us to have it. I think it's ceiling. Yes, it's ceiling. So we can put the ceiling down, and that should allow us to actually have our second floor that looks like a second floor. Let's get the angle correct. Now these are popping on a different thing, so I'm going to have to work with it a little bit because these are from different mesh sets. So I'm going to change this down to 50. What that's going to do is it's going to allow me to slide that in closer. Now that's looking a lot better. I'm going to pop this down. What am I working with right now? I'm working with that one. All right, let's see how this looks now when I... Where's that at? Okay, let's go ahead and try to set this to 10 so I can bring it down just a little bit more. All right. Let's see how this looks now. We can change this now to probably 50 and be all right. Yeah, cool. All right, so this is going to actually be our second floor. We can add some residences up here as well. We can really do a lot. Do whatever we want. We can add a kitchen on that first floor. I'm going to go ahead and copy these out. Probably don't want to have that one there. That looks a little crowded for headspace. We'll probably do that. All right, that looks quite nice, actually. put that out there just a little bit so we can kind of extend this all. Now highlight each of these, and we are going to actually have a fairly decent house. Then all we have to do is kind of select everything. If we can select this one, which is not being nice, there we go. Now I should be able to just kind of go across and copy all these out. Let's see how that looks when we zoom in. Cool, it actually lines up pretty well, with the exception of this exterior thing, but we can get rid of that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, I got to figure out how I want to do that ceiling, if I want it to be arched, or if I want it to be kind of something more like this, traditional shingle. We can figure that out. But let's go ahead and go in now and see how it looks from the character point of view. So when we go in, got a wooden ceiling. Okay. We can populate this with some kind of cool stuff, make individual rooms. And now we have the second floor. And I want to leave this kind of open without like a door, or if it does have a door that you can open so that students can kind of walk into these places and kind of talk to NPCs. So that's all for this video. I've kind of just shown you real quickly how to kind of make a house using a couple different modules. In later videos, we're going to clean this up a little bit. We're going to add a ceiling in, and we're going to turn it all and get it put in a proper place. So we're going to turn all these meshes, and we're going to line it up better with our roads that are going through the city. And again, this is just a very simple way to kind of structure a house. And this is something I should say before I go, though. The last thing that you ever want to do when you're designing a house is putting a roof on. And the main reason is because it makes it a little difficult to kind of see what's happening. Roofs are very easy to construct and put on, to take maybe about 5 minutes for each one. I usually put the second floor in place so that I can kind of populate the first and second floor at the same time with various meshes, props, and things like that to make the space kind of come to life. But for right now, you see the Domus Ecclesiae kind of constructed. So thank you for listening.